Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. So, over the last couple of days we've heard that Demarcus Cousins is going to be waived by the Rockets. And today, Shams has even said that the Houston Rockets are releasing Demarcus Cousins. So, this will allow, as he went on to say, this will allow the four-time All-Star to find a team elsewhere. And they've also guaranteed his contract. Now, at the start of the off-season, when the Rockets signed Boogie, he signed on a non-guaranteed deal, which you can understand. Boogie has had lots of injury problems. We all know his story. So the Rockets weren't going to guarantee his deal, but they did now. They've guaranteed it around $2.3 million. So he's on a guaranteed deal, which is good for Boogie. He needs to get paid. He's missed out on a lot of opportunities to get paid because of all his injuries. So he's going to get paid, which is pretty good by the Rockets. Fair play to them. And they are going to let him go because they want to go smaller in the 5, and they're going to go small ball. When Christian Wood comes back from injury, they're going to play him in the 5, and they're going small ball really. So Boogie can't seem to catch a break at the moment. The Boogie story, just quickly, I've seen when he started off in the Kings, he was elite over there, an all-star. Then he went to the Pelicans. He was, I think, there for 2 years. He was very good while he's there, and he could have got a big contract. And then he said he'd go to the Warriors instead, try and get a ring. And he ended up being, he tore his Achilles, and he missed most of the season. He came back for the playoffs. Wasn't quite himself, but he contributed. He played in the finals against the Raptors. They ended up not winning. The Warriors, they lost KD. Didn't resign him. He signed for the Lakers. He was going to be their starting center with LeBron and AD. Then he does something to his ACL, tears it, and he's out for the whole season again. Then I think he did get a ring for the Lakers last year. I think he did get one, but he wants to get a ring playing. He wants to contribute. So Boogie, he's on a guaranteed deal now, which is good for him. But he's going to be let go by the Rockets. We're going to go small, so he's no longer going to be a Rocket, which I think is good for him. The Rockets, they've had a very poor season. They were doing okay when James Harden first left, but they've fallen off since. So I think it's good for Boogie. He can go to a contender, and hopefully he can get a ring by playing. Now Boogie, there's going to be a load of teams interested in him, and we got 6 teams here. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons for each team. So first of all, the Lakers. Now, when Boogie first got confirmed he was going to leave the Rockets, Laker fans were saying he's going to come to LA. And then more recently, people have said the Lakers are going to back off Boogie. I think Brad Turner said that. However, however much weight you put in his words, I don't know. But Boogie, the pros and cons going back to the Lakers. Well, the pros are he knows the locker room. He's been there. He's a big, he knows AD, knows LeBron, knows all those boys, and he knows Vogel's system, so he knows what he's doing there. Now, that's pretty much it though for Boogie at the Lakers. I think the Lakers need to. The Lakers right now, they're on a 3-game losing streak. I think they need something different. Marc Gasol and Demarcus Cousins, they're too similar. Boogie is an upgrade. He's only 30 years old. Marc Gasol is 36. Now, most Laker fans have blamed Marc Gasol, for their struggles at the center position, which I get it. He has been pretty poor. But Boogie is just an upgrade on Marc Gasol. They have the same qualities, and the Lakers need something different. They need a rebounder. They need a presence in the paint. Boogie's more of a stretch 5, and with Lakers need something different. Well, so far this season anyway, Boogie's been averaging 9.6 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game, on 37.6% shooting from the field, and 33.6% shooting from 3. So and on a career 33% shooting. So sitting his usual shot from behind the arc. He's a stretch 5, but the Lakers need something different than that. And that's why I think the Lakers are going to target someone different. We've heard Mo Bamba rumours, I think is not very likely. I've heard Hassan Whiteside rumours over the last couple of days. Now, I made a video months ago that the Lakers should go for Hassan Whiteside. And then he went to the Kings straight after I made that video. But I think it's still relevant, that video today. I think the Lakers could use Hassan Whiteside's blocking. But I just think Marc Gasol and Boogie are too similar. They're both very good passers. Boogie's a much better scorer, but both of them are not athletic anymore. Different reasons. Marc Gasol, he's 36 now, he's old. Boogie, with all the injuries he's had, he's just lost his mobility. Like, Marc Gasol has got the turning speed of a fridge, but Boogie Cousins isn't much quicker. And the Lakers need an athletic big man up there to block shots, protect the rim, and just be a big presence in the paint. That's what they're missing. And I just think Boogie, he's not great in defense. He's more of a scorer, a good threat in the offense. I think he's an upgrade to Marc Gasol. And if you have Boogie and Marc Gasol as the Lakers centers, I don't think that's going to solve the problem we have in the center position. So I think for the Lakers, no. And I think the Lakers are distancing themselves from the Demarcus Cousins rumours, which I think, it's a great story to bring Boogie back to LA, but I just think, we need to focus on winning here, and I don't think he'll be a good fit. onto another team that could use him, the Miami Heat. Now, Bam Adebayo is their main centre. He'll be a sixth man coming off the bench, Buggy, which he's been with the Rockets anyway this year. I think that he could use him more, for sure. You can even slide Bam into the power forward and have Buggy as the centre. But I think the Heat have had a poor season this year. I made a video about the Heat. I think they'll come back, but I just think they can do with some extra scoring. Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, they're struggling this season. It's all in Jimmy Butler and Bam. I think a bit of scoring off the bench. Hopefully he can get Goran Dragic back. I think Buggy would fit Miami very, very well. He'd bring a lot there. And another team that could do with him is the Boston Celtics. Now the Celtics, they've needed a big man for years, really, you know. Ever since they lost Al Horford, I think they've needed a big man. Daniel Tice, he can stretch the floor for sure, but I don't think he's good enough for the Celtics. If they want to win a championship, they need to put pieces around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and they need a centre. I remember they were linked with Andre Drummond a few years ago. I don't know if they're going for him now this year. It depends if he gets bought out, I suppose. They have Tristan Thompson. He hasn't really worked out. I thought he'd have a bigger role than he's shown to have. So I think Buggy would be a great pickup for the Celtics. You know, the Celtics are so reliant on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. If they're not scoring, if they're not bringing it night in, night out, the Celtics aren't going to win. Simple as that. And I think Demarcus Cousins bringing scoring, you can start him or bring him up the bench, whatever you want to do. He'll just take a bit of a load, the scoring load anyway, off both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think this would be a great pickup for Boston. Even for the short term, it can be a 1 year rental, whatever you want. So bring him in, veteran minimum deal. You know, I don't see how Boston can go wrong with that. Now another team that I think will be linked with every single player, the Lakers are linked with, the Brooklyn Nets. Now this one is definitely unlikely for sure, because Buggy and James Harden didn't get on in their short time together in Houston. Demarcus Cousins didn't like James Harden's attitude. I don't blame him. At the time, you know, James was trying to get out there. But one thing that could make this possible is the Nets need a rebounder. They need a presence in the paint. A bit like the Lakers. They're very, very poor on the defensive end, so Buggy would fit right in, really. But no, not against Buggy, I like him. But, you know, DeAndre Jordan, he's not enough. They need another guy. I know they play a small five in some games. I think bring Buggy in, he'll catch a few boards, good passer. I think he'd fit Brooklyn well. The only problem is him and James Harden don't get along, so that could be a sticking point there. Another team, the Toronto Raptors. Now Chris Boucher has done very, very well this season, but that's about it, because Aaron Baines has really struggled with the Raptors this year. He's on a big deal. He struggled to replace Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol. So I think bringing Buggy in, backup center for Chris Boucher, and try and cut down on Aaron Baines' minutes. You know, as a 1 year rental, I don't see why not. Why it wouldn't work. You know, the Raptors are improving. They're surging up the Eastern Conference, which is surprising. I thought they'd be struggling at this stage. They had a very poor start. So I think with Toronto Raptors would be a good fit, you know. The only thing is the Raptors do like players who play defense, so that might be a problem. But, you know, it's a low risk, high reward with Buggy Cousins, you know. He's at a high ceiling, so I don't see why Toronto won't take the risk on him. And one last team that could use Demarcus Cousins right now is the Portland Trail Blazers. Nurkic has been injured, and he is injured. As I said, they lost Hassan Whiteside in the off-season. Zach Collins is injured. Even CJ McCollum's injured. He's not a big man. They're losing players here. They're very reliant on Damian Lillard and even Carmelo Anthony for scoring. I think they could do it with Demarcus Cousins. You know, a presence in the paint. They also have Cantor as the centre, but I think Demarcus Cousins is an upgrade in him. Now Cantor struggles on the defensive end, but Terry Scotts has actually fitted him in well, and you know, hasn't been exposed too much. He could do the same with Demarcus Cousins. I think this would be a low-key very good fit for him in Portland. I could see it. CJ McCollum, Carmelo Anthony, Damian Lillard, Demarcus Cousins. I think that'd be unbelievable. Nurkic, you can have Cousins come off the bench and Nurkic starting. I don't know. But anyway, guys, who else do you think should sign Demarcus Cousins? And tell me some other teams I missed out on who should be in the race for him. For sure, he'll be picked up, hopefully by a contender. I like to see him up there challenging. If we did the Lakers, you know, as a Laker fan, I'm just concerned, you know. We're on a 3-game losing streak. I don't think he's right fit for the Lakers, but maybe some people do think he is. But guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications, because we have plenty of videos coming out. And yeah, stay notified. And all I'll say, guys, I'm out of here.